So when does it actually make sense to use a debt consolidation loan, and when does it actually solve the root issue? Well, let's find out. Welcome to the Ascend Finance YouTube channel, where we help folks understand the pros and cons of debt consolidation loans. Now, you may be in a spot right now where you're getting tons of mailers that are telling you that you pre-qualify for a low interest rate loan, and all you have to do is call this so-called lender and share your invitation code with them to get the loan. Here's the kicker. When you call them, it seems like most of the time you don't actually qualify for the loan, but they do qualify you for their debt consolidation program. I'll dive into what those programs are in a bit and whether they're really worth it. However, today I'm going to start with whether actual debt consolidation loans make sense. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to cover 1, when does it make sense to take out a debt consolidation loan? 2, what are these loan mailers? And 3, what can you do if you can't qualify for a consolidation loan? Now, please remember one thing though, before I get into this video is made for informational purposes only and should not be construed as any kind of legal advice. All right, so let's dive into the first piece. When does it make sense to take out a debt consolidation loan? Let's first understand what goes into a consolidation loan. There are 4 main things. It's going to be the loan amount, the interest rate, the term length, and the origination fee. All of those can be helpful in understanding the total cost of taking out a loan. Now, let's go through some of the most popular reasons someone may want to take out a consolidation loan. First, one reason may be someone wants to take out a loan to consolidate high interest credit card debt. Ultimately, if you have a good credit score and can qualify for a loan with a rate lower than the average rate of your credit cards, it could be cost saving to do that. There are, of course, other benefits. For instance, you may see an increase in your credit score because you're moving the debt from a revolving credit now to an installment loan. And installment loans may report better on your credit than revolving credit. Okay, here's the deal with this though. If you're taking out a loan that has a higher interest rate than the average rate of your credit cards, then it may not actually save you money doing this. And at the end of the day, you're kind of just moving the debt from credit cards to a loan. Now, if you're not sure if you should take out a loan to consolidate your debt, one thing you can always do is take our free consolidation loan versus program calculator. It'll help you compare your debt consolidation options and kind of see whether it makes sense to do a loan or potentially other kind of options. And it's completely free, and it should allow you to understand the cost and term for both loans and different types of debt programs. Okay, so another reason someone may want to take out a consolidation loan is to consolidate their payments into one. Should you do that though? Well, it depends. It simply comes back to what we just chatted about. Are you moving the debt to just move it into one payment, or are you doing it to get a debt cheaper, easier, and faster? I can definitely see the pros of doing this, even if you're paying the same total all-in cost, but it's just something to be aware of. Now, if you're a fan of Dave Ramsey, you'll see clips and some that I've actually shown in other videos explaining how sometimes getting a consolidation loan isn't actually helping you get out of the debt, but more so just really moving the debt. At the end of the day, it's important to understand the root issue, preventing you from paying off the debt as soon as possible, and see what you can do to actually combat that specifically. Alrighty, let me dive into a final reason someone may want to take out a consolidation loan before I go into when it may make sense to actually take out the loan. So another reason may be that someone wants to increase their credit score. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, installment loans can sometimes report better than revolving credit. So having a loan of $25,000 instead of having $25,000 owed between 5 credit cards can actually sometimes report a better credit score. So sometimes people can be so focused on increasing their credit score, so they'll take out a loan to pay off all the credit card debt. I get it. We care so much about what our credit score is, but sometimes it's important to really understand whether that actually is solving any of the root issues. Regardless, let's now kind of get into when it actually makes sense to take out a loan. So when does it actually make sense to take out a consolidation loan? At the end of the day, it's going to depend on your goals, okay? But I generally look at from the perspective of, does this get you out of debt cheaper, easier, and faster? So if you can answer the question with a yes, then maybe it makes sense to look at a loan as an option. But Again, just as a reminder, to understand whether it's cost saving, you'll probably want to look at the loan amount, interest rate, origination fee, and the average interest rate on your credit cards. So after considering all of those factors, you find that it would actually save you money, then great. It's up to you, of course, at that point what you want to do, but those are just some things to look at. All right, before I dive into those loan mailers and what's going on there, something I'm going to touch on in detail in a bit is what the alternatives are to a consolidation loan in case you don't qualify. I'll actually bring up this free debt options calculator that will show you different options based on your specific zip code and data. So that way you can kind of compare everything unbiasedly and for free. Okay, so what really are those loan mailers, and are they actually offering you a loan? As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, there may be times where you get a mailer stating that you pre-qualify for a really low interest rate loan. The thing is, you sometimes call that so-called lender and you share this invitation code with them. You may not actually qualify for the loan. What they may end up saying is, sorry, you don't qualify for the loan, but you do qualify for our debt consolidation program. Wow, that's unbelievable. But it's interesting because they're offering you something that's vastly different than a loan. So all jokes aside, they're basically pitching you a program where you have to fall behind on your debt. It's called a debt settlement program. And I'll go into that in more detail in a second when I kind of talk through the alternatives. Okay, so what are your options if you've tried to qualify for consolidation loans but keep getting denied? There are a couple of options I'm going to talk about today: nonprofit credit counseling and debt settlement. Let's first go into nonprofit credit counseling, as I find that option to be much closer to a consolidation loan than debt settlement. Nonprofit credit counseling, in a very simple explanation, is where an organization negotiates a new plan with a credit card company with a lower interest rate and term. When they do this though, most times the credit card closes. However, if you're trying to consolidate your credit cards and get a lower average interest rate but can't qualify for a loan, this can sometimes be a helpful alternative to consider. You can always take our free debt options calculator I mentioned earlier to estimate the monthly payment for that option. Okay, the final option I want to review in this video is debt settlement. If you're at a point where you're already falling behind on the debt, or see that you'll have to fall behind on the debt soon, this can sometimes be something to consider, as what you're doing is you're working with a company that's going to eventually negotiate down the actual balances after these accounts have basically charged off. And so what you can do to try to understand that monthly payment is estimate that as well with that debt options calculator I've mentioned before. All right, well, enough of that. Thank you so much of watching this video. I hope you were able to kind of understand the different options if you don't qualify, when it makes sense to qualify, and what those loan mailers are. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 833-272-3631. Have a great day.